Okay, so here it is. If you haven't already, you should watch these two videos first. But since this is the next and final part of the entire story, this part is basically pure aura. But that aura won't have as much meaning if you don't know the context from these two first parts. So if you're still here, I love you, go grab some snacks, and get ready for this awesome ending of Inazuma 11 Victory Road. All teams are staying at the Odaiba Football Gardens for the Football Frontier Finals. There's even a statue of Mark Evans here. It's a haven for all footballers, especially youth football. It's a mecca for youth football fans. It's got luxurious training facilities, and it even has an aircraft carrier, so all students can return back and forth to their schools for any reason at any time. Youth football has become so big in recent years. But amongst all this luxury, Destin doesn't take any time to relax in it. He immediately discusses plans for their next game against Stormbridge Junior High. They have a wall that has to be broken through, or else defeat is waiting for them. They will discuss more at the strategy meeting later, and now everyone just gets to explore the gardens at their own pace. Now at this point in the story, special moves can be evolved, and they can take on more power and pack a harder punch. After they all explore the gardens, the team finds Stormbridge Junior High their next opponents. They immediately pick a fight, immediately insulting South Sirius and where they come from, and one of them, Blaine, recognizes Cedric. He asks how Cedric even made it here. He says Cedric isn't the type to stand out, and this isn't just his kind of stage. Blaine knows him as team player Ced, who links the real stars together, but this place isn't made for sidekicks like Cedric. Stormbridge is so blatantly confident that there's 0% chance of losing. They used to be classmates with Cedric, but he's kind of used to the harassment and bullying. It doesn't bother him anymore. Stormbridge Junior High's biggest strength is their Keshin. A Keshin is like a construct formed by manifesting a spiritual form, supporting its summoner similar to like a magical guardian. But using one drains a lot of stamina. It's not used by many people. The downside is pretty significant. But their Keshin resistance is what's dangerous. They can link their Keshin together by performing a perfect attack route. They have two Keshins on their team as well. Their striker Blaine has Sacred Lance Clear Bunny, and their defender Govin has Worn Titan Warborg. Together they completely shut down the opposing team's plays. There is one thing South Sirius can do, to fight their Keshin with a Keshin of their own. Stormbridge's strategy revolves around their Keshin, linking offense and defense, and that exact link is what must be broken, to sever it with a Keshin of South Sirius's. They do have one person with a potential to awaken a Keshin, and Destin believes this person is Cedric, meaning the next match is all on Cedric's shoulders and he is key. Destin gives everyone a day off to rest before their big game, all except Cedric, who needs special Keshin training. His first step is to talk to everyone thoroughly, so Destin assigns him to track assigned people and their actions, taking pictures of them too. So now we get to play as Cedric in the Odaiba grounds and explore its luxurious gardens. He stalks Nika and Ivan in their tactical meeting and moves over to the ocean side to spy on Thierry flirting with some girls. But also on the beach, Briar's practicing his special training. Over in the main area, Rika begins her activity on social media again and finds Cade stalking Rika. Finally, Cedric stalks Alex helping an old lady. Cedric heads back to the cottage to find Lilac, Alex and Juno also being gathered. Destin may have found a clue on how to help Cedric awaken his Keshin. He is the only one, because the South Sirius Keshin will be born from their unity, not individual skill, making team player Ced the perfect choice. For now they need more clues. He found a record of an old South Sirius student using a Keshin, so they want to dig into this history and uncover its truth. But it dates to over a decade ago. The only records may be found in the school's archive, with old documents, and so the night passes and the morning rises and they head back home to South Sirius using the Skycraft to investigate further. The facilities here are top priority. Youth football is a large source of income for the Japanese economy and it's invested heavily, meaning these students can travel back and forth whenever they please. Lilac has now made a school-wide announcement allowing anyone in the school to be recruited into the club if Destin wishes. The archive room is locked and none of the clubs who frequently use it have the key at hand, meaning the key is missing. Edwin Grove is a platinum inner tuber who monetizes on the privacy of others in the school. Some of his recent posts have been exploiting others like top prep school's principal is an idol fan, or smoking hot teacher is secretly a spooky big bums fanatic, or candid snapshots involving gorgeous student council president. He has been using one of the highest reputation schools in the country as clickbait. He was using the archive as a goldmine for private information. He too has been the mystery figure that's been filming the football club in secret over the last couple of months. Now they searched through the documents in the archive and found an old textbook of the football club and their Keshin. Back at the lodge later that night, Destin shares the information he found. Everyone needs to understand how it works. Back then, it was a striker who activated his Keshin, but he wasn't an exceptional player. To summon his Keshin, he fused the forward's energy into one massive stream. A Keshin for a new team like South Sirius will be born from all of their strength. Cedric's style is all about complementing others. He reads the match, syncs up with teammates and guides them to success. It's his real strength, and it's why he is perfect for this job. But he feels like he's just not good enough to do anything impressive on his own. His self-doubt is overwhelming. He can only help others and not do it himself. The journal mentioned exactly what he needed to do to summon the Keshin. It says he would stand by the school gates every morning, reading the energy from all the students. But this wouldn't work now since he needs to do this for an entire team. He needs to go to a place where lots of people gather. Shibuya, the Scramble Crossing. Cedric feels he doesn't feel connected to the whole team. He was just pretending and hoping Destin saw through his mask. He knows better than anyone how much of a nobody he is. He is easily replaceable in the team. He's never even had a best friend that he can open up to, and he still doesn't. For as long as he can remember, he would always be on the move from his parents' work and leave his friends behind. He always had a sense of misplacement, not fitting in. He fought to enjoy life. He had to force himself to make friends, force himself to fit in, just to get by. Briar partly overheard Cedric talking to himself. He feels immense pressure, and Briar questions why Cedric always has a smile and a corny joke ready to please. Nobody else can really do that, but Cedric can. He can do something nobody else can. He just doesn't understand his importance. Cedric soon comes across Morella from Stormbridge. She's their coordinator. She used to play, but she hit her limit. She knew Blaine was giving him a hard time. Maybe he's jealous of Ced for always getting along with everyone. He treated everyone equally, but Blaine didn't. He wants to be accepted for his strength, the exact opposite of Cedric, which frustrates him in seeing Cedric. Morella insists that Cedric is what holds this team together. As she leaves, Cedric doubts this though. He mumbles that he really isn't that great of a person. He's selfish and calculating, and honestly, that's kind of pathetic. The next day comes and Cedric musters the strength to head to Shibuya Station on his own. Suddenly, a group of familiar thugs show their faces to Destin and Briar. They were moved by how they play and want to help the boys out wherever they can, like training. They used to dabble in football themselves. While Cedric is on his special training, the entire club's fitness needs to raise quite heavily before they can truly be ready for their next match. Destin also finds a new member to recruit, and chooses my custom character from Chronicle mode, totally not biased. The night before the match, Briar and Destin discuss how far they've truly come, and they do wonder if Cedric is ready. And now the day's here, the very first match at the very top. All the teams walk out onto the pitch to make their introductions. As South Sirius walk on, Destin falls over. Maybe he is a little bit nervous. But following his tumble, the rest of the Football Frontier final qualifying teams proceed onto the pitch. Stormbridge Junior High, the Masters of Keshin, the rule-bound and by-the-book Lawcrest Junior High, AI Academy with their cutting-edge technology, Noble Insight Institute, the champions of classic football, Alpine Junior High, the Silver Knights with a selfless spirit, the infamous Royal Academy with their impenetrable fortress of tactical precision, and finally, last year's champions, and the legendary undefeated kings, Raimon Junior High. Destin has pure confidence in South Sirius and he isn't nervous at all. In their first game against Stormbridge, they are overly confident in their Keshin, so they want to have fun bullying Cedric in the meantime. The whistle blows and match begins. South Sirius make an immediate break for goal. Briar's force flash is stopped by the Stormbridge keeper's silent ink stroke. Both teams will make sure that they won't slip up even once during this match. Apparently, only a Keshin can beat a Keshin, and South Sirius officially has none at their disposal. It doesn't take long until Blaine Westbrook unveils Stormbridge's Keshin. Alex takes this chance to show off the might of his new special move, Divine Deflectors. But that wasn't enough. Coming back from conceding a goal, Nikas tries to break through the defence, but Govin unveils Stormbridge's second Keshin, one that nobody can get past. Blaine and Govin can combine their two Keshins, Clear Bunny and Warbug, together. Alex's Icy Grace has no chance to stop the Shadow Empress shot either. They cannot be stopped without a Keshin. At 2 goals down, Thierry is screaming at Cedric to get his act together. Cedric knows it has to be him to unleash the Keshin, but he struggles to face his fears. South Sirius can try to resist and blast shots through to the goal, but their efforts are futile. Once again, Blaine shoots with the Shadow Empress and Alex is just helpless to stop it. It seems like South Sirius's dreams are coming to an end. It's 3-0 at half time. Such a one-sided game to open up the finals. Cedric says he's trying his best, but nothing's happening. The second half begins and Cedric enters a focused battle with Blaine. He loses, but he does catch up and finally follows the flow of his team's energy. He sees everyone's aura, he sees their spirit. He summons the Keshin using the team's aura, but he's cut off by Blaine. He's supposed to be good at syncing with people, but it doesn't seem to be working. He's always wearing a mask, willing to do what it takes to make others laugh. That's all he is. Someone who fits in. Fitting in is the one thing he's good at. But even that is failing him. He falls to the floor even after all of his training, sensing everyone's energy, reading their aura. He learned how to do it. Destin believes in his potential too, but he can only just cry on the ground. All 11 players have to be in sync for this to work. Cedric has been watching everyone the whole time, reading their wavelengths, but it's not working. It needs harmony between all 11 players, and he forgot to include himself in this equation. He was so focused on everyone else, now and always. He's always focused on reading other people's energy to fit in. Even now he's focusing on everyone else so much that he forgets about himself and his own energy. His own happiness. He tries to make others laugh, but never laughs with them. The joy he gave to other people, he never felt himself, always leaving himself out of the picture. He was under the impression being someone else was the only way to make friends, sacrificing who he was so he could fit in, but now he understands. Everyone left him before because he never smiled from the heart. This sudden realization makes him realize he likes making people happy, but he wasn't having fun himself. He needs to enjoy it too. From this moment on, he's now done changing himself for others. He's going to be true to himself. He's going to be Cedric Freud, and this is the real Cedric Freud. He pushes through the defence and scores the first goal for South Sirius, leading the way. He's no longer a person who fits in the crowd. He now unleashes his football personality, no longer afraid of others' rejection, and the team recognises this. They follow his lead and they turn the game around with him. Cedric's dazzling carnival is the perfect incarnation of this. He's having pure whimsical fun, unconditional fun. Blaine and Govin try to team up to take down Cedric's Keshin, but Blaine is in pure disbelief that the one person he hated most would ever be able to rival him. Cedric's pure heart and joy simply overcomes Stormridge's Keshin. Nothing can faze him right now. He's just too happy to be free. It doesn't take long until the second goal follows. Cedric is just unstoppable. His freedom and joy cannot be trifled. And then moments before the end of the game, he scores his hat-trick, equalising for South Sirius, taking them into extra time with golden goal. Whoever scores first is the winner. In celebration of this victory, the team praises Cedric for what he's done and what he's realised. He's become someone with a unique spark. He's become someone that he can be confident of himself with, someone who can be free. And elsewhere, in a strange location, in the wilderness, Harper Evans lays alone, thinking of someone from his past. Now, back at the lodge, Destin has his first official interview. He's kind of squirmish. They ask him how he feels leading this team through the storm. He feels happy. Up next is their match against Royal Academy, who are known for their disciplined play. Destin thinks he has a sure shot at winning, but he's giving short, nervous answers. Finally, he is asked why he doesn't play despite his vast football knowledge. Then it cuts away to much later, where the interviewers discuss to themselves. If they say it's truly sad he has all this football knowledge, but he can't play due to an illness. Most of the time when people can't chase what they love, they give up on life entirely. And it brought back memories for Rena, a boy she interviewed back in Junior League. His eyes were full of hope. If Destin didn't have his illness, he could have matched even Harper Evans. So the night passes and it's time to prepare for the next game against Royal Academy, but they have no time. Suddenly a large tanky bus rolls up at the Odaiba Gardens, one with such an air of menace. Coming out of the bus is the infamous Royal Academy. They're here to scout out South Sirius. Royal's manager is a total data freak, and since South Sirius is brand new, there's no data on them at all. At the beach, Destin approaches Alice Rendell, who has a strange talking bunny on his hand. Alice says he was attempting to decipher the gull's aerial trajectories in the sky. Destin tries to introduce himself, but Alice simply doesn't care about socializing with opponents. The bunny also chimes in. Alice is simply here to assess Destin's squad's current form. He wants to make this a true contest of strategy on equal footing, and he leaves before he can elaborate. A woman spots Destin and recognizes his kit. Being from South Sirius, she asks if they have seen her son, Cade Shelby. She's came to check on him, since it's his first time sleeping away from home. Cade's mom is a fitness instructor and scolds him for not doing his daily workouts. These workouts are the true secret to Cade's speed, but Thierry struggles to picture it. Depending on how you look at it, Royal Academy could be tougher to beat than even Raimon. Their team practices over 20 different tactics, so they're ready to counter any strategy. They are terrifying tacticians. Alice Rendell is also a genius. They're a team with no exploitable weaknesses. They call him Alice in football land. The only way to beat perfect strategy is with perfect unpredictability. In order to beat Royal Academy, they have to make sure the equation doesn't add up, completely disregarding logic. In order to train and prepare new tactics, South Sirius plays a couple of friendly matches against Lawcrest, AI Academy and Noble Insight, the three other teams that lost their first match of the Football Frontier finals. They're the perfect matchup to train against. They're all Stormbridge's level of strength and skill. After a few days of intense training, the day has almost arrived. Destin and Alex hang out at night and they spot Cade on the beach practicing his dance moves. He's trying to be just like Riker. He has a deep admiration for her. But anyway, the next day, the match awaits. Royal Academy are late to the game, but they don't miss their grand red carpet entrance. Bunny and Alice speak about his plan. In Alice's world, everything moves according to him. If they can beat Royal Academy today, they will soon meet Raimon in the final. Royal Academy once clashed with the legendary Raimon Kings for the top spot 25 years ago with Mark Evans. And opposite them is the new Rising Stars South Sirius, both teams led by master strategists, a tactical showdown between two great minds. Royal thinks South Sirius look like pushovers and just want to get the game over with. The whistle blows and this clash between tactical titans begin. Royal's menacing aura hasn't changed after all these years. Although the players change, its ominous menace remains. Both sides begin testing the other side to read the game, but Royal Academy also have a habit of pure aggression and begin with a tactic right away, the Enchanted Forest, engulfing the stadium in a dark mist as well as boosting their own strength. South Sirius struggle to match this power right away. They take a long shot with their Royal Penguin Parade and they break through the defense, and Alex too couldn't keep up with it. Royal doesn't hesitate to show their strength and they score the opening goal in just the first 5 minutes. South Sirius is on the back foot of the game. This is Alice's Wonderland. Destin plans to shift tactics and reclaim the momentum using the star path. Even Royal's defense moves are too strong. They have an unbeatable stronghold. Thierry manages to sneak a shot with his Heavenly Thunder, but the keeper's Royal Shield stops it with ease. Although it seems like Royal is dominating, in fact, Alice feels the tension coming from Destin's tactics. He feels he has met someone who can compete with him, so he ups the ante and enforces his next tactic, Caucus Race, turning the dark mist into a sandy, dusty cloud to rain. Even Riker's swirly shot is saved easily by a full power shield. Right now, all South Sirius can do is try to withstand the Caucus Race. All of their techniques are falling short to Royal, but Destin included this in his calculations. He expected the struggle and planned around it. He's ready to now shift into a higher gear, using Roar of Resolve, clearing the dusty skies. Through pure skill, Riker creeps through the defense with her afterimage and passes over to Nikas on the wing. He gets a perfect direct hit on the ball and smashes it into the corner, equalising for South Sirius. Bunny didn't expect South Sirius to power themselves up this much. It wasn't in the data. But Alice doesn't panic, for they're still trapped inside his world as he unleashes cavalry advance. This does nothing to the terrain, but instead makes Royal's players an unstoppable cavalry, boosting their attack. They hit South Sirius hard, but Destin has counterattacks ready with the Titan Wall, boosting defense by 50%. Royal take another shot with Royal Penguin Parade, but Alex won't make the same mistake again, and saves the shot just seconds before the halftime whistle. Alice feels excited. This is the first time he can't see what's coming next. South Sirius kicks don't match any corresponding data. Bunny figured out what the issue is. Destin made all players wear different boots than usual. The weight and material of the boots directly affects the player's comfortability and precision when kicking the ball. Even when kicking it the same way, Destin took this into his game plan and knew that it would create room for error in Royal's perfect calculations. Alice has a sheer sense of curiosity burning inside of him. He for once takes notice of who his opponents are and is intrigued by Destin. They find out that Miss Sereno doesn't run the team. Destin does, as the captain and sub from the bench. Despite never playing a match, Alice is oddly curious how he is the brain behind it all, behind ruining the vision Alice has painted. He insists he will win this manager showdown, and he must draw a new vision inside his wonderland. The second half begins. Alice knows that South Sirius is a machine. They're flawless, except one break in the machine and it all comes crumbling down. So he makes a plan to find that one weak point, and he chooses Cade. He thinks Cade is South Sirius's weakness. Every time Cade has the ball, he is trifled over and pushed around. He's causing too many slip-ups. He starts panicking and hiding himself on the pitch, envisioning his teammates, his friends, hating him. Destin is confused why Cade is being targeted. He clearly has enough speed and skill. He's not an obvious weak point, but somehow Alice cracked it. He did such immense research on the whole team. He somehow knew that Cade has a sheer lack of self-confidence. Everyone is now worried about Cade, and the atmosphere is mellow. Thierry, however, doesn't crack. He ups his game and tries to make up for Cade's shortcomings, but now suddenly Thierry is being targeted by Royal, accusing him of being a king complex type. Something common with kids of rich politicians, targeting Thierry at his most emotional, personal weak point. As much as Destin tries to read Alice's mind, he can't understand why Cade and Thierry is being targeted and not Briar, when Briar is the obvious weak point in the team. But then Destin cracks it. Alice has been reading up on everyone's school's social media posts, analysing everyone's personalities, even though only other South Sirius students can see them. But the more important topic at hand, Brian never posts, so there's no data on him at all. The most obvious weak point in the team is off the radar, but either way, it's still not looking good for South Sirius. Destin wants to constantly feed the ball toward Cade. Cade has a secret he never shared online. Destin is sure it will show up soon if the ball is feeding toward Cade, and Destin was right. When Cade next gets the ball, he explodes in Riker's aura, a copycat ability of her dance moves, perfectly mimicking her traits. Cade's self-confidence is shaky, so when he's backed into a corner, he adopts someone else's personality, and who else is better than a strong-minded, strong-willed, skillful Riker? Someone in the crowd knows this ability. It's called mix and match, being able to use someone else's abilities as your own. It bonds together their emotions and willpower. Cade makes a break through the defense and Thierry strikes back with his heavenly thunder, smashing through the full power shield, rattling Alice with unprecedented disruptions to his calculations. Now in the lead and Royal falling behind, South Sirius finally have the advantage. No matter how many special moves and tactics Royal use, they can't keep up with South Sirius, not without their airtight strategy and data, so instead they use their sheer strength in order to equalise, using the infamous Death Zone. Royal are absolute powerhouses, fully capable of putting up a strong fight with their physical prowess alone. In sheer strength, they outmatch South Sirius. Unfortunately for them, without the airtight data they rely on and discrepancies in their strategy caused by Destin and the South Sirius players, they fumble under pressure, and Cedric takes advantage of it, scoring a third goal for South Sirius, dominating the game in the second half. Royal are in fact so strong, South Sirius can hardly win any focus battles. Royal wins every time, and their overwhelming power doesn't stop even at 2 goals down. They refuse to give up. They barrage tactics and attacks and even managed to blast through, scoring a second goal in the final moments of the game, but it wasn't enough. Through Destin's leadership and strategy, South Sirius win. South Sirius resembles Raimon back in their prime 25 years ago, absolute underdogs with no expectations of accomplishing anything, somehow rising to the very top. Alice Rendell is in utter shock, and a strange man approaches to talk to him and give him comfort. This man is his father. Later that night, Destin meets up with Alice before he leaves. Destin praises Alice's commitment, transferring students into South Sirius to gather intel and analysing every move possible. Alice wants to battle Destin again one day, in another manager showdown, or maybe one day, team up to fight even stronger foes. Either way, they will meet up again. And Bunny too says his goodbyes. Back at Raimon, Eleanor and Darian talk about Harper. He's been off again. Even after spending a lot of time with Harper, Darian understands nothing about him, and it was the same with everyone else. He wants to visit Harper at his home. He feels he's lost a friend and wants to be there to support him. Harper never referred to Darian as captain, only by name, unlike the rest of the team. Maybe that was his way of saying he didn't want to be seen as just another player. Later that day at Harper's house, it's covered in old memorabilia of Raimon's prime days, and Darian gets to meet the legendary Mark Evans. Mark credits Darian's ability for shaping Raimon's current team. He says it's in a much better state now than what it was when he was a captain. Darian is worried that he isn't attending school or practicing with the club. Maybe it's true that Harper is beyond recovery. The reason he hasn't come back isn't because of his leg injury. If he really wanted to return, he would go back to the world he loved, much like Destin Bellows has. Only Harper can make this decision and find his answer. Everyone's overestimated Harper when he was called the football monster, but Mark doesn't think so. He thinks the real monster is Destin Bellows. After staying for dinner, Darian remembers what Harper told him not too long ago, that he found football boring and he just wants to make friends. Darian now realises how he never truly understood Harper. The signs were all there that inside he was not fine, but the onslaught of goals coming from Harper convinced everyone that he was fine, but he always felt alone. The next day at Raimon, Darian looks for Leia. He finds her drinking tea and says that she sent a video to Eleanor. She's analysing the video in the club room and wants him there immediately to see what she's found. The footage was of Harper's injury. They're trying to figure out what caused his injury. It's terrible luck that Harper got injured on his birthday. Although it's likely Harper collided with someone, something is bugging Darian. Eleanor too thinks it's weird Harper got hurt in such a minor incident. And Darian spots something troubling. When Harper fell to the ground, the opponent didn't even touch his leg. He took a dive and screamed injury. And there's something weird on his boots. The day of his birthday, there was a gift in his locker room. Eleanor and Leah go to investigate this further because something nefarious could be at play. Later that day, the three of them visit Addison Norris, the Raimon manager, accusing him of orchestrating Harper's injury. Apparently, he called out to Harper before the game, giving him new boots, claiming they're from his dad. Harper put them on right away, since he never gets birthday presents. He probably felt surprised and happy that he just got one. However, Norris knew this. Harper told him one time he never gets birthday presents. The boots had a needle in them to inject a muscle suppressant. It made his muscles give out and he collapsed, hurting his leg. And he paid a doctor to fake a diagnosis, saying that it's career ending. Norris claims this is just speculation, but Darian has proof. The stadium cameras caught his conversation and they even have Harper's boots at hand. Norris ordered the staff to retrieve his boots, but they never did, because when Harper was being carried away, he told the staff that he wanted to keep the boots since they were the first present his dad ever gave him. They mean a lot to him. The equipment manager decided to honour Harper's request instead of Norris's orders. They have already confirmed how the boots are rigged. Norris gets agitated and aggressive in this moment. He lays his hands on Darian in an attempt to intimidate him. Norris finally breaks and reveals his true self. He thinks Raimon is this entitled cushy school. He hates Harper, he hates Raimon, he hates them all. Right in this moment, the police enter. Nellie Evans called them when she learned of Manager Norris's betrayal. Manager Norris blames Harper for what happened to his son. Back in Junior League, the only person who could keep up with Harper was his son, Isle Holland. Isle suffered an injury during a match against Harper. His football career ended after this injury. He couldn't handle the shock to escape and he ran into traffic to end it all. Isle could have surpassed even Harper. He was Norris's pride and joy. He blames Harper Evans for it all. He thinks his son also hated Harper Evans, unaware about their true relationship. Isle didn't take his own life because of Harper. Harper and Isle may have clashed in football, but shared no rivalry beyond it. They shared their training routines, they trained and improved side by side, sharing workouts, pointing out each other's weaknesses. They weren't only rivals, they made each other stronger. In one of the last posts from Isle, he says, "Harper, I only got to play football because of you. I can't play anymore, but will you keep playing for me?" They never resented each other. Their hearts were as one. Darian thought Harper found football boring because he was too good, but that wasn't the reason. Harper found out Isle's true feelings when it was too late. Isle told Harper that he can just do something else, since he can't return to football. There are plenty of other fun things to do, but Harper and Isle both knew deep down nothing could replace football to them. Harper even remembers that he told Destin to go and do something else instead of playing football, knowing that it was some of the last words Ion said to him, and it was secretly a coping mechanism for his broken love for football. Harper knew football was boring in middle school. He doesn't remember when it stopped being fun. Harper's inner child speaks with a vision of Isle. He now wants to play so bad it drove him crazy. After his injury, he finally feels the pain that Isle felt back then. Unable to play, he asks for permission. He asks Isle that the football they can no longer play together, if it's okay, that he can play with Destin instead. Deep down, Harper saw Isle within Destin, and his love for football only sparked back through his brief encounters through Destin. Harper just wants to return back to football. Isle says his soul will always stay within Harper, and he will live on through football. Norris didn't know that Isle loved football that much. He's now confused why his own son would take his own life. Maybe because he could no longer do what he loved the most. But actually, he didn't take his own life. He never even wanted to. The car veered off the road because of poor maintenance. The driver tried to hide what happened and it was ruled as an accident. Harper is the future of football. He could lead everyone in the country to a new era, but Norris has taken that away. He feels tremendous guilt for what he's done. He feels the weight overshadow him. The policewoman, Maeve Smith, says her grandpa would never forgive anyone who uses football to do wrong, and they will keep busting people like Norris to clean up the game. Elsewhere, Nikas and Destin chat together. Destin still hasn't got over his pain with football. It's still a heavy weight on his shoulders. Watching everyone play makes him feel like he's out on the pitch too. It's fulfilling for him, but what's weighing on him is that his football exists only because of everyone else. It centers around them because he can't do it himself. He is afraid he can't meet up to everyone's expectations, and the pressure gets to him sometimes. Destin fails to realise he isn't the only one. Nikas says that a forward's job is to score, but you might mess up, you might miss, you might blow the chance. Goalkeepers too. A missed save at the wrong time can cost the entire game. Midfielders have enemies on their backs every second of the game, and they have the weight of the whole team to carry on them. Everyone feels pressure, but despite that, they're doing their best. Their best to make sure their super competent manager can feel proud of them. Destin might not be the one out there playing, but he knows the game better than anyone, and loves it better than anyone, and when he messes up, the team will cover for him. Harper is working hard out in the wilderness, and an old lady comes to visit him and feed him some rice balls. Harper only recently met this lady, but she notices he's been pushing himself so hard lately. He has to recover fast and be in top form so he can soon battle someone strong. And for a brief moment, it looks like Harper is having fun. Back at Raimon, Darian can't stop thinking about Harper. The whole team don't realise what's going on with him. The one teammate knew he was always lonely. Harper sends a message to Darian. He knows that Darian is worrying about him as always and asks him for a favour, and then the day passes. Everyone is doing their own training before the final, so Darian acts as a good captain and checks in on everyone. And he finds everyone just hanging out in the club room. They figured since South Sirius are still rookies, they think staying in top shape matters more than practicing. They think catching a cold on match day feels like a bigger risk than losing, and Darian does not stand for this. Raimon didn't start as a powerhouse. Winning the Football Frontier is just a pipe dream, and the new South Sirius resembles that old Raimon who defied all odds. The team doubt Darian because he's never even saw the old Raimon play. But nobody on the team has even ever visited the old club room. They never saw the club's humble beginnings. So, Darian takes them there. He says there used to be a notebook that recorded how the old Raimon fought its way to the top. They rose from rock bottom, training non-stop, day in and day out, never giving up on victory. The team say it's obvious amateurs need to train. That's why the motto is practice makes perfect, which is exactly right. Except Raimon aren't training. They aren't practicing right now. They doubt South Sirius and are confident that they aren't even that strong. But they haven't even watched a single match of South Sirius. They haven't watched them play, and still somehow doubt them. Darian has watched every single match in the finals, and they have one strong area where they outmatch even Raimon. Raimon don't have a manager. Nobody to lead them, nobody to direct them. The rest of the team believe manager Norris suddenly quit and vanished. Norris gave them the freedom to play their own way, which is what's caused this false sense of confidence. But he did also personalise everyone's training plan. Just the right challenge, just the right load. A good manager is a force multiplier. Raimon has a unique style that makes them easy to read, which puts them at a disadvantage against a team with such a sharp manager. Raimon at this second refused to believe that even for a moment that they might be the underdogs here. Their status at Raimon controls them. Darian tries to make them realise that if they were a bunch of nobodies, how did they beat the prestigious Royal Academy? Royal is Raimon's top rival. Mark Evans even said it himself. Destin Bellows is a monster. The only way Raimon can win is by crushing their analysis with raw power built through special training. Otherwise that upstart monster that came out of nowhere will devour them all. Darian insists the team must go on the most brutal training they've ever done, but he has one more thing to say, something he's trusting Harper with. Later on, Darian needs to find a way to gain the advantage. He's looking for someone, and Leah spots him and comes by. The words power beyond analysis keeps ringing in Darian's head, and he thinks Raimon needs fresh talent the enemy isn't prepared for, something they can't develop a strategy around. This person should be nearby. The 7th grade goalkeeper candidate, Matilda Shadebow. She crushed the evaluations, and right now she's over by the wall, doing something bizarre, and it freaks people out. Everyone calls her Mama Sigdale, a name for Sigdale's Tale, a series that got turned into an anime. Supposedly, she's full-on obsessed. Matilda says she's strengthening her core, but it looks more like she's hugging the wall. She's trying to shift the stadium 1 centimeter, trying to resemble a goddess from Sigdale's Tale. Suddenly, the stadium starts shaking. And Darian asks her if she would like to be trained as Raimon's official goalkeeper. Back at the Odaiba Gardens, Destin checks out how everyone's practice is going. He finds Alex and Nikas bickering over calculations and tactics. Everyone is coming apart under pressure right before the big game. Briar and Riker are overtraining themselves, they're tired out, they just want a 5-minute break, and Thierry won't allow them slacking off, even though they've been doing special shot drills, which are way more physically demanding than normal practice. Everyone's just on edge. Destin pulls them all out of training to guide them. They're all pushing themselves way too hard with the finals so close, so instead they're going to be focusing on team building. But the team don't think it's a good use of their limited time. They refuse Destin's wishes for the very first time. It's do or die right now, and they want to stick to their own training. Destin reminds them that he promised everyone that they will become the best in Japan. He knows exactly how much this matters, which is precisely why he's pushing the team building exercises. Nika's faced Raimon before and doesn't think that they can beat Raimon. The whole team knows deep down they've come a long way, but they're not as skilled as Raimon. That's why they're all panicking. They're grinding like crazy just to avoid facing the truth. Destin singles out Cedric, asking him what is the team's greatest strength. He says teamwork, which is correct. Their defining trait is unity, their team spirit. At this rate, they won't just lose, they won't even put up a fight. They realise they've completely lost their way. So, Destin has one of his crazy plans in mind, called the position shuffle drill. The first step to unifying everyone again is to return to South Sirius Junior High, and Destin tells everyone to play out of position, and they're up against the baseball team to remind them of their humble beginnings. The fated showdown begins once again, the football club versus the baseball club. The club positions are just too randomised, perhaps chosen on purpose. Riker is now the goalkeeper, Nikas and Briar double up in defence, Cedric, Mason and Ivan play as defensive midfielders, Amelia and Thierry team up as attacking mids, and leading the forwards are Cade, Davin and Alex, a complete unfamiliar mix-up. The team find this mix-up fun and refreshing. They trust that Destin has calculated everything, and they focus on just enjoying themselves as they learn a deeper appreciation for the roles their fellow teammates play. This game is a breath of fresh air, taking away from the stress, taking away from the pressure, and helping the team forget for a moment the big game about to come, and remember why they truly love football. Alex scores his first ever goal for South Sirius, taking them into the lead against the baseball club, and in the final moments of the game, Mason crosses the ball with his bed of roses, and then appearing on the score sheet for the very first time is Cade Shelby, ending the game 2-0 for the football club. After the game, the baseball club encourages Thierry to help lead the football club into becoming the best team in Japan. This session loosened everyone up. They all feel more at ease, but Destin insists to continue the position shuffle training regimen until the game with Raimon. He makes the comparison that trying to beat Raimon in raw power is like a house cat trying to outmuscle a tiger. So he doesn't want the team to spend time on training special moves or honing their physical capabilities. He wants the team to focus on training what makes them special. their teamwork. The next day is the final chance for training. This training will be different, so the team need to trust Destin and stick with it. He wants Cade and Alex to both respectively learn a secret shot move, even though their positions don't require them to ever shoot. After days of intense training, they've done all they can. They are aware how outclassed in skill and strength they are, but not in spirit. In that they are the best in Japan, and Destin thanks the team for bringing him this far, someone who can't even play. Whether they win or lose, Destin won't be satisfied. They're after one thing and one thing only: total victory. Destin has pulled Briar out of a dark place. He gave Riker a new dream to chase. He helped Thierry find himself. He gave Cade confidence. He taught Alex how to make the right choices. And now because of Destin, Cedric has real friends that he can laugh with. I'm ending this right here and will continue in the finale, which will be uploaded now. So click here in the corner to watch the fated ending of Inazuma 11 Victory Road, the match between two football monsters, South Sirius versus Raimon. I honestly adore this game to the bottom of my heart. It's crept its way into my top 5 and I think it will stay there for a while. The Football Frontier finals have proven that this game's story and writing knows how to make football feel ecstatic and whimsical, in traditional anime fashion, whether it's the joy of Cedric realising who he is and who he should be, or the bitter story of Isle's death and Harper's coping. This game feels incredible, and the finale is the perfect ending to this purely awesome game. I hope one day they turn this into an anime and truly capture its essence. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you've made it this far. I truly appreciate your love and support and it helps me so much. So please come have a chat with me in the comments and tell me what you think. I will be seeing you in the finale.